Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Soulful Abundance Festival. I'm your host, Elise Preston, founder of Be More Connected. And today I'm so excited to be here with the amazing Amy Park.
I'm so elated to be here.
So glad to have you. And Amy Park is an actor and abundance life coach through her Law of Attraction program, Awakened Joy. She attended Boston University with a degree BFA in theater arts, where she found her passion for elevating the Asian American community through storytelling, and then moved to Los Angeles in 2016 to find other like-minded souls to create with. When moving to LA, Amy started to integrate herself into projects that were aligned with her cultural background and upbringing, such as This Is Us and recurring placement on Amazon's Fractured. And in the midst of diving into her artistic outlets, her mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. And that's when Amy realized that she had another powerful mission to propel her purpose. And that's when Awaken Joy was created, which is an 8-week step-by-step program to experiencing joy. And this program helps participants to shed their fears and limiting belief systems so that they can truly breathe and believe in the life that they want to attract. And Amy is so excited and loves to remind us that the very best is yet to come. And isn't that so exciting? So welcome, Amy. I'm so excited to have you here and would love to be able to start off our interview with learning a bit more about your cultural background and upbringing and hearing about how your foundation with Zen Buddhism has influenced your life and your work in the world today.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I don't think anyone's really asked me that question before. So thank you so much for starting it off with my foundation. I come from a Zen Buddhist background. And so when people, they go to church on Sundays, I went to my Zen Buddhist temple on Sundays. And it was really wonderful because the foundation of everything was based on meditation. So I know that meditation came to us a lot later in life. I think it became like a thing, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. But for me, it's my life. It's my lifestyle. And so I did it every single day. And, people burning sages and lighting candles. Dude, my mom's been doing that since I knew her. She's doing that every single night. And she's like in her meditation, pillow and everything. And so, yeah. And so I am very, very grateful that meditation has been such a big part of my life because I can't imagine me without it. That's what I do. I live, breathe meditation and really focusing on what, is important to me. And I'm able to let go of what isn't. And because I was able to do that at such a young age, I think it really gave me perspective on the things that, like pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. And I really do believe in that.
Thank you so much for sharing about how Buddhism and meditation have influenced your worldview and your life. And it's so beautiful to see the ways in which you're able to carry that forward. And I know that your 8-week coaching container is called Awakened Joy, and would love if you could share a bit more about what Awakened Joy means to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I really believe that joy and abundance is our inherent birthright. But society has done a really good job of trying to tell us that we aren't meant to be joyful. We aren't meant to, have an abundant life, and that life should be so hard. And we've been very well convinced of that. And so my program is to remind you and to awaken that joy that has already been within us. Because I think we are often so led by what others are telling us. And I just want people to recognize the root of what their core is, what their purpose is. And so once we start to figure that out, I think the joy, it just starts coming out, and you start saying, wow, yes, this is me. This is my awakened joy, and not listening to what anyone else is trying to tell us. Yeah.
Yes. And I feel like I was so magnetized and like so drawn to your work because you speak so beautifully from this core and from this center, encouraging people to return to and remember who they are at that core essential soul level. And that's also such a huge part of what I'm so excited and like passionate supporting people with in my work in the world. And so it just feels like such a sweet like way that we get to connect and relate and mirror with each other the things that our souls are here to do. And um, as you are supporting your clients with cultivating greater alignment and greater abundance, what do you see as some of the most consistent blocks or barriers or challenges that people are coming up against?
Absolutely. Self-doubt, not believing in themselves, fear of their true worth, and racing against time, feeling like they don't have enough time. And so my program is literally called Work Smarter, Not Harder, because I feel like we've all been taught to work really, really, really hard. But as we can see, it's not really the serving point for us. So it's like, how do we work smarter? How do we save time and energy and money so that we can get you to where you want to be in the shortest amount of time? And which is why my program is only 8 weeks, but oh my God, we do a deep dive in everything. And for every person, it is a little different. So, for instance, I have my online accelerator course and I have my one on one. But for those who want to do a deep dive in my one on one, I create a customized framework for every single person based on their needs and what they're looking for. So, I implement what they need throughout the 8 weeks while still carrying the foundation of my program. And I can tell you 100% every single person comes in because they have self-doubt or they need confidence in their worth or they don't know what their purpose is or they are afraid to go for it.
Yep. And I think as you were, speaking to earlier, that we are living within a world where we're experiencing so much societal programming, cultural conditioning that pulls us away from our essential soul self, that makes it more challenging and more difficult to access our inner knowing, our inner truth. And, with those areas of self-doubt, fear, not feeling like you have enough time or resources, not feeling maybe that you are enough.
Yeah.
The ways in which you support people through the law of attraction, through tapping into their awakened joy. And I know this is, a deep and a rich body of work that you move people through. But just wondering if there are a few pieces of guidance and wisdom that you might be excited to share with this audience.
Yeah, absolutely. I think before we start tapping into abundance and manifestation, the law of attraction, that actually comes way later in the program. The first that we have to do, I believe, is really focusing on our why. Why are you here? Why are you valuable? And I think the moment we start to recognize why we are valuable, we start to create that knowing that, wow, I can do this. I am worthy to be here. I am worthy to do what I want. And so that's the foundation that we establish first. And then we start to shed all the things that aren't serving us. So we start to forgive not only others, but ourselves. And we go back to our inner child and we go back to the root of all the pain that has started and that has instilled the limiting beliefs, that has instilled the self-doubts. And so we do all the shedding work first so that we can make space for the greater things that we want. I mean, it's kind of like you go into like a really dirty room, for instance, and you got to clean out all the things first so that you can get what you want.
Yes.
It's kind of the same thing in your mind. Yeah.
Oh, 1000%. And I think that's such a powerful reminder for all of us that if we want to cultivate anything new and different in our lives, if we want to stretch and grow and expand to the next level, that we do have to shed things in order to make space for the new.
Absolutely.
And that sometimes does come with its own level of grief, of loss. But being able to lean into that trust in knowing that what we are expanding towards even greater than what we're releasing and letting go.
Absolutely. I always think that the arrow shoots back before it flings forward.
Mm,
And I always remind my clients that, like, hey, I know this is difficult. Like,
yeah.
I know this is not fun work, but just get ready, because on the other side, it's gonna be so freaking amazing. Oh my God. And they
Mm,
always get there and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm feeling so much bliss. And it's like, yes, yes, you are worthy of that. So
yes.
I love being their cheerleader.
And that's, I think, what is the most, or at least in my own personal experience, being able to be supported by coaches and mentors is like, there's a part of it that is the curriculum, the tactical tools and strategies and practices, but so much more of the experience of what you gain is actually just having loving accountability and support and someone to walk that journey with you and just to
Yes.
remind you that you've got this, that you
Yes.
are powerful, and that you can create the life that your soul desires. And I think too, it is tricky when you get into some of those spots, like those tough parts of your journey, as you were talking about, like when the arrow pulls back before it goes forward and you're like in the messy middle of things.
Yes.
So, when we're in those spaces, those really stretchy or uncomfortable dynamics, being able to have that person, just to have a conversation with, to mirror and reflect what's possible for you is like so incredible.
It is. And I think it's a good reminder to let people know you don't have to do this alone.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, you don't worry, I got you. There are
Right.
people who want to be there with you on
Mm.
your journey. And if you think about every great leader, they didn't do this alone. They've had
Right.
leaders who have held their hand with them, and they've had communities, and
Mm.
we are no different.
Right. Oh, such an important reminder. And so I'd love to hear a little bit more about how you find the rhythm and harmony and balance between your work as an abundance coach and your work as an actor.
Yes, I love this question. I think the flexibility of being able to work from home is the greatest as an abundance coach, because, well, this is a really great time because of COVID. All my auditions are during self-tape. So I'm not going to
Oh,
auditions. Everything's being self-taped. And so for me, I'm a very type A structured person,
yes.
and that's worked very well for me, because all of my calls are during the daytime. So mornings and evenings are when I usually practice my lines, or I'm studying for an audition, or I'm, filming an audition. And a lot of the times, I'm able to, shoot and film things on weekends. And for me, all of my calls are during the weekdays. So I structure the days and I structure my acting, and it's worked out very, very well. So work from anywhere, Wi-Fi, that's all you need.
And through your work in the acting space, I feel like so much of that work is really related to like being able to allow yourself to be visible, to take up space, to use your voice, to be involved in storytelling. And I know a lot of folks in this audience are people who identify as healers and leaders and visionaries. And one of the things that comes up for a lot of folks that I speak with and work with, and community members that I connect with, is a lot of fear and limiting beliefs around allowing themselves to be visible and taking up space. And so just wondering if you have any guidance to share around that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. For me, I truly believe that our souls have chosen our passions and our purpose way before we were born here in this physical world.
Yes.
So I know that my soul has chosen for me to be an artist in this lifetime. And why should I shy away from what I'm meant to be doing?
Hmm.
And that's something that I really, really try to drill into my clients. Like, you have this passion for a reason. And, some people, they're born to want to be doctors. Some people, they're born to want to be teachers, artists, engineers, whatever it is, coaches, right? And I think it's really because that is our path. And if we are shying away from that, or if we're in fear of that, no wonder we're sad. No wonder we are in resistance, right? No wonder we don't feel fulfilled. It's because our soul is trying to tell us, hey, listen to me. I was born to do this. Come on. Why aren't you doing it?
Let's go.
Yeah. And so I think just recognizing that this is what you're meant to be doing, there is no reason to be afraid of it, because that is what is chosen for you in this lifetime. And so I know that that is my path. That's why I don't shy away from it. I know it's destined for me, just like everything is destined for you, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Yes. And I think that's such a powerful reminder. And just rooting into that truth of like everything that excites us, everything that lights us up, everything that we're desiring to offer and share, that's not an accident. Like that's intentional because our soul chose it. And those things often start to speak, even more loudly and more powerfully to us, become less subtle. And that's also intentional. We get that resistance and it feels uncomfortable because our soul and the universe are trying to support us and orienting towards what is aligned and what is true for us. And the more that the body knows. Yeah. And the more that we give ourselves permission to lean into those spaces and take aligned action in the direction of what our soul is asking for, that's where we do experience more of the flow and joy and connectivity, and less of that sadness and resistance and heaviness that life can carry if we are denying what is meant for us, if we're denying what our soul has chosen. So, just love how beautifully you described that.
Thank you for asking. Thank you.
Yes. And so as you are on your spiritual journey at this time, I'm curious if you would be open to sharing what some of your own growth edges are and where some of your learning is currently taking place.
Something that's coming up for me right now is this year I really wanted to focus on my romantic relationship. So I just entered into a beautiful new relationship with my boyfriend, and I'm focusing all on that. That is my priority. I've made space for this relationship. I've prepared myself before I entered myself into this romantic partnership. And so last year I've done a lot of the work of really shedding and focusing on I got a womb coach last year just to really help with like my past like sexual assault and rape. And it's not fun doing the work, but you have to do it. Yeah. shedding and I really just worked on myself. And I knew that my person was coming. I felt it intuitively. And so these are my growth edges, as beautiful as it is, I know that we're going to come into conversations that will bring up, my past traumas and triggers. And it sounds silly, but I'm so excited for it. Like I'm ready to heal, and I'm like ready to go for it with my boyfriend and move through all these things. And so I'm excited for the healing that is to come, and that is to inevitably arise. And I start to already feel it. So I'm like, okay, I know that these, triggers and insecurities are going to come up, and, I'm ready for it. Like I signed up for this, and in a way, if you look at it third person, it's kind of beautiful, to be able to communicate that with someone you cherish so much. So that is the forefront of my life currently. And I am prioritizing that because that's really important to me.
Yes. And I so appreciate you sharing vulnerably about your own experience and just parts of your own healing path where you have experienced pain, experienced trauma, and know that it is such a deep and tender process in terms of providing yourself with the different coaches and supports and community and intimate relationships that allow you to feel safe and seen and comfortable and known in order to move through those different spaces and different challenges. And I mean, I can so relate to everything that you're describing. And I'm in like my first committed relationship. I've been with my partner now for like a little over 2 years.
Wow.
And I feel like we're getting into a new space now too, where it's like, there's like a deeper level of depth and opening and vulnerability that wants to happen. And it's so scary just being in that space of intimacy and relationship and being known. So I feel like that's a big part of my own current growth edge and healing journey as well, is just allowing myself to really be met in intimate like partner relationship. And yeah, wow, it is so beautiful and so powerful, like the way you were saying that you're really excited actually to have these different opportunities to meet yourself and meet the places where you're ready to heal.
Yeah. Like I have friends who are like, oh, like my boyfriend and I, like, I don't know, we not like a fight, but you know, we got into a little quarrel yesterday, or like something really, and they're kind of like, oh man, it was really hard. And I'm like, I want that.
You're like, I want to go in. Let's just do it.
I want to scoop in deep and like get on the muck out. That's so fun. Oh my God.
I love that so much. Because it does feel good when you're on the other side of that. You're like, wow, look at what we just unearthed. We did that.
Yeah. That's when you know, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, wow, I love doing the work.
Born to be a life coach.
Yeah.
Well, yes, thank you again for sharing so vulnerably. I feel like that conversation that you shared will be supportive for so many. And yeah, as we start to bring our conversation closer to a close, I love to ask all of our guests, what does soulful abundance mean to you?
The soulful abundance to me. The soul is meant to expand. It's meant to shine. It's meant to expand without judgment and without any limitations. And truly, we align with our souls. We move through our souls. And I think so much of us, we live in such an egotistic world. And so it's returning back to the soul. And it's letting it just be and flow. And so for me, it's expansion and flow without any judgment, without any limitation, and just really thriving in bliss, letting the soul thrive. And that's what soulful abundance means to me.
Oh, gorgeous. Expansion and flow without any limitation. So beautiful. And so I know that our audience is going to be so excited about staying connected with you and all the magic that you've got going on in your world. And so if you could share the best ways for people to do that, I'd be so grateful.
Absolutely. So the best way you can contact me is on Instagram. You can send me a DM at AMI_park. That is Amy_park. And my website at awakened-joy.com. But yeah, Instagram is my platform for sure.
Well, thank you so much for being here, for sharing your time and your wisdom. And for all those tuning in, thank you for joining us. And I look forward to catching you again tomorrow for the next set of interviews for the Soulful Abundance Festival. Bye, everyone.
So much. Bye.